For 5 years, I worked 40 hours a week at a hotel and somehow got praised as one of the best employees there, even though most nights I barely did any actual work. The craziest part, management loved me, guests loved me, and nobody ever realized how much freedom I really had. Before we get into this story, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment if you've ever had a job where you somehow got away with way more than you should have. Trust me, after hearing this story, you'll never look at hotel night shifts the same way again. Now let's get into it. When I was in my mid-20s, I was trying to survive graduate school. If you've ever been through higher education, you know exactly what that feels like. The endless assignments, the research papers, the constant feeling that there aren't enough hours in the day. Most of my classmates worked part-time jobs that paid poorly and demanded every ounce of energy they had. I needed something different, something that would pay the bills without destroying my ability to study. That's when I stumbled into hotel work, specifically the night auditor position. For anyone who doesn't know, a night auditor works the overnight shift at a hotel. You're basically the front desk employee, security guard, customer service representative, and accounting department all rolled into one. At least that's what the job description says. The reality, that depended entirely on the hotel. My first night on the job, I expected chaos. I imagined drunk guests causing problems, emergency maintenance calls, constant check-ins and complaints. Instead, I walked into what felt like an abandoned building. The evening staff had already done most of the work. The guests were asleep. The lobby was silent. The phones barely rang. I sat there, waiting for something to happen. Nothing happened. An hour passed, then 2, then 3. By the end of the shift, I had spoken to maybe 3 people. That was when I realized something incredible. I hadn't found a job. I'd found a loophole. Every night, I'd arrive around the same time. The day staff would brief me on anything important. I'd handle the handful of tasks required for the audit, run the reports, update the system, check the numbers. The actual work usually took less than an hour. After that, I had 7 hours left. 7 entire hours to do whatever I wanted, and because I was alone, there was virtually no oversight. No manager looking over my shoulder. No co-workers watching what I was doing. No endless meetings. No performance reviews every week. Just me, a quiet hotel lobby, and enough free time to complete entire graduate courses, while everyone else in my program was struggling to find time to study. I was getting paid to do it. I'd sit behind the front desk with textbooks spread out, research articles open, assignments in progress. If a guest approached, I'd instantly switch into professional mode. Friendly smile, helpful attitude, problem solved. Then, I'd go right back to my coursework. The funny thing was that this actually made me look like an incredible employee because I wasn't stressed, I wasn't exhausted, I wasn't counting the minutes. Until my shift ended, whenever guests needed help, I had endless patience. I'd chat with them, give recommendations, listen to their travel stories, help them solve problems. As a result, guests constantly left positive reviews mentioning me by name. Management saw the praise. They assumed I was going above and beyond. Meanwhile, I was quietly writing graduate-level papers at 2 in the morning, but the freedom didn't stop there. There was another unspoken rule among overnight hotel workers. When someone called asking if we had rooms available, the answer depended entirely on how much effort you wanted to put in. Late-night walk-ins could be unpredictable. Some were perfectly normal travelers. Others brought drama, complaints, arguments, problems, and if the hotel was already nearly full, checking someone in at 3 in the morning often wasn't worth the hassle. So occasionally, when the phone rang and someone asked if we had availability, we'd become mysteriously sold out. Every room gone, not a single vacancy. Terribly sorry. Have a wonderful evening. Click. Was it technically accurate? Maybe, maybe not. But after dealing with enough overnight chaos, you learn to appreciate peace. Then there was the snack situation, and honestly, this part still makes me laugh. Before I started, another night auditor had become the victim of a scam. Someone repeatedly manipulated him into giving away snacks, drinks, and convenience items. By the time management discovered what happened, the losses had reached thousands of dollars. The reaction was immediate. Budgets were tightened, inventory was monitored, everyone became paranoid about giveaways. The problem? The hotel's employee food allowance was already pathetic. Anyone who's worked hospitality knows the feeling. You're surrounded by food, surrounded by drinks, yet somehow your official budget barely covers anything. SOI adapted, not in a criminal mastermind way, more in a creative, survival way. Products nearing expiration, those mysteriously became employee meals. Damaged packaging, guess those couldn't be sold. Inventory discrepancies, well, better not let things go to waste. Over time, my overnight shift became surprisingly comfortable. Energy drinks, chips, snacks, the occasional free meal, nothing extravagant, but enough to make long nights much easier. And because I understood the inventory system inside and out, everything stayed balanced. Nobody asked questions. What made the whole situation even more absurd was how much praise I received. Every quarterly review looked fantastic. Guests loved me. Co-workers liked me. Managers trusted me. Whenever someone called out sick, they'd ask if I could cover. Whenever there was a difficult guest situation, they'd often say my name. He'll handle it. He knows what he's doing. He's reliable. And to be fair, I was reliable when real problems happened. I solved them. Fire alarms, guest complaints, computer issues, double bookings. I've seen them all. The difference was that those situations represented maybe 1% of my time. The other 99%, I was building my future while sitting behind a hotel front desk. At one point during graduate school, I remember looking around the silent lobby at 3 in the morning. The soft hum of the vending machines echoed through the building. The television in the corner played some late-night rerun. Nobody was watching. Outside, the parking lot sat completely empty, and there I was, writing a major research paper while getting paid. I couldn't stop smiling. For years, people assumed I was working incredibly hard. The truth was more complicated. I had simply found a system nobody was paying attention to, a job where competence bought freedom, a position where finishing responsibilities efficiently left entire nights available. Most people, when given that freedom, waste it. They scroll endlessly, watch movies, sleep. I decided to turn it into something valuable. Every completed assignment, every passed class, every step toward my degree happened because of those quiet overnight shifts, and that's where the real payoff comes in, because eventually I graduated, the degree was finished, the long nights paid off. I moved forward in my career with credentials that would have been nearly impossible to earn under a normal work schedule. Meanwhile, the hotel kept operating exactly as it always had. The funny thing is that nobody ever felt cheated. The guests got excellent service, management got positive reviews, the audits were completed accurately, the books balanced, everyone received exactly what they wanted, including me. If anything, the real revenge was against a system that expects people to sacrifice sleep, sanity, and personal growth just to survive. Instead of letting the job consume my life, I quietly used it as a stepping stone. While everyone assumed I was just another overnight employee, I was building an entirely different future behind the scenes, and by the time anyone could have questioned it, I was already gone, with a graduate degree in hand. Mission accomplished. Sometimes the smartest victories aren't loud. They're not dramatic confrontations or public humiliations. Sometimes justice looks like finding an overlooked opportunity and squeezing every possible advantage out of it. While the world slept, I built a better future for myself, one quiet hotel shift at a time. If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button, subscribe for more incredible Reddit revenge and workplace stories, and tell us in the comments, what's the easiest job you've ever had that secretly changed your life? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next story.